So today I'm sharing with you not one, but two greenhouses. So this greenhouse we're currently in is my hobby greenhouse. So anything that I buy, grow, or anything I want to keep for myself in my collection is in here. I've recently repotted everything into these beautiful white pots. So I'll just show you all of this shortly. And in my second greenhouse, I've got anything that I will sell or anything that I'm growing, from leaf props to seedlings, all sorts. So it just kind of organizes it a little bit in between two different ones. And I quickly grew out of my first greenhouse, which I got God, when was it, 2021? So I think I had that for a year and then got my second one. And then in the spring, summer and autumn I also have arrangements of succulents outside. So yeah, they're everywhere. So I want to share it with you today. So if you're looking forward to the video, please give it a like and keep watching. So this is greenhouse number one. So I've actually got a polycarb greenhouse. I think it's probably a little bit better for not being able to break it, and it's not quite as maybe strong for the sun. And then I have lots of shade netting up, obviously because the sun is too strong for succulents. They actually like partial kind of sun. They like to be in the shade at times. So yeah, shade netting is a must for succulents in a greenhouse. If not, they get scorched. So let's start on probably the top shelf. So if I just show you, I've got these shelves here with 4 levels. Obviously I haven't tidied up today. This is literally the reality of my greenhouse, so not too bad. It's just yeah, kind of, I don't know, I think I've got a form of OCD and I like to be very tidy at all times, but it's not possible. So yeah, this is kind of the layout. I've got shelves on the left and then straight in front of me, and then down here I've got my fan, which comes on automatically when it reaches over 30 in here, which is amazing. My husband set that for me. It reads, I don't know why this keeps flashing, but it reads the temperature and then comes on when it needs to. Obviously I've got my music, because having my music on and repotting is just, it's good for the soul. I love it. It's just amazing. It feels good. And then down here I've got different mixes. So I've just got quite a gritty mix there. Underneath I've got pure soil. In that one I've got just grit, and then that's some leaves and things I need to sort out. And here is my potting table. I did a video recently on this and how I organized it, and actually it's not too bad still. Obviously I am mid repotting some things, so that's why it's all messy up there, but I've kept the organization. It's been a couple of weeks, so I'm really pleased. That's just my bin. But yeah, let's kind of pan around and I'll give you a quick tour of different succulents really. So I have, if you've seen my videos and if you watch my channel, you'll see that I've had quite a few hauls recently. I've bought loads of new ones. So what I've done is eventually potted them all on. I was going to wait until they all had roots, but I was kind of just, they were sitting there and they were kind of in these trays, but I was getting a bit worried they might get a bit scorched because they're in the kind of direct light. So I finally finished repotting them, and I put them on this shelf so I know which ones mostly they are. Some of these are just head shops as well, but these are kind of plants which are rooting. So it's just so I know not to water them. If they look thirsty in the minute, they need to root a bit more, and just so I can keep an eye on them really. So they are a lot of my newbies. These ones on the left here are head shops, so they are looking very thirsty, but they've only got really small roots in the minute, so I just want to wait a little bit longer before I water them. But these are some of my new ones, and they are vibrant and beautiful. And then at the back, what I'm doing now is just, if I leaf prop something, I used to put them on soil straight away, but I'm now just leaving them in these little containers just scattered about. And as soon as they get roots and I pop them in some soil. There's some blooms I'm hoping that I've got some seeds in. And at the back here, we've got my aloes, which I grew from seed, which I'm so proud of, because I did that in my first year of any kind of plant succulent hobby. And they are massive now. So I grew them in 2020, so they're 5 years old, some of those. And then I redid them, or redid it every year. So these ones are a little bit younger around here, and these ones are last year's. So yeah, I love them. I think they're beautiful. They don't like too much sun, I found, so they're at the back there. I've watered them recently, but they look really thirsty still. But yeah, they get huge. They're not fully mature until they're 7, so they've got a couple of years to go. That's the spiral aloes. Yeah, so that's kind of that shelf. The bottom shelf I don't put succulents on, so at the minute it's kind of storage. Some lupin seeds from last year over there, and yeah, just different trays and things. So that's all storage, and there's pots and more pots and pots and pots really. And then the kind of third shelf. Down here I've got not leaf props, sorry. Oh yeah, they're leaf props, aren't they? So we've got head chops over here. These are from probably a couple of years ago. I feel a bit maybe sentimental towards head chops and don't ever know when to chuck them out. So if you look in here, I've got some teeny tiny babies in there, but they are just pure white, so they aren't going to survive. They need some green on them to survive. And the same with this beautiful super bum. Like, look at that, it's so pretty, but it's not going to survive because it's not got any green to it. It needs that green to survive, so I'm just kind of leaving them there and just seeing what happens with Mother Nature, I suppose. Then a few head chops, not many, like I said, these are years old now, so they're not doing too well, but I just can't chuck them yet. And then some leaf props over here, and that kind of continues. I've got some that I've grown from seed over here, which I'm just kind of experimenting with to see what makes them grow quicker. At the minute I'm dunking my plants if I need to water them rather than just giving them a little drink. They're having a full drench. And then some succulents down here as well. So these are newly repotted ones as well. So shelf number 2. On here I have what I probably call my really low maintenance, non-fussy succulents, which have either had no water or only water once this year. And also in amongst this collection or selection is lots of new ones as well. So yeah, these are ones, like I say, have not had any water or maybe just one watering this year, and they don't need it. They're nice and plump still, so it's a bit messy down this end. But so what I mean by these, so this one definitely I haven't watered at all, this deep red one. When you squeeze the leaves, there's a seed pod here which I do not want to touch. It's about to pop open, so I want it just to do its own thing at its own time. So let me just move on to something which isn't going to cause me stress. So this one, these leaves are really still quite firm, and they don't need any water. So I'm not going to water it just for the sake of it, because I think they should have had some already by this stage of the growing season. I'm just actually listening to them this year and doing what they want and just see when they want water. But at the minute they're all really, really happy. There's some absolutely beautiful ones. I love this one, this Snow Peak. It's really plump and juicy, and the colour of it is beautiful. I love the leaf structure, it's absolutely amazing. So yeah, there's some absolute beauties on this shelf. I've just kind of left them there and admire them daily, really. And then at the back I just have my leaf props on some soil, but I'm probably going to be moving away from that, and then just having them in the trays like I showed you. And then at the back there I've got some more, and then some more leaf props just sitting there, and again the same over there. And the same for this shelf, really. These are new ones or head chops which are just sitting there waiting to root. And in amongst this kind of collection, I've got my Comptons, which is my last chance plant. I am not having these anymore if these die. So I've got one here which is in like 80% grit, and one over here which is in 90% grit, and I've got one outside as well. And somewhere I've got a little pup. And I've got some, yeah, beautiful variegated cubic frost. I want these down here just because they're not fully rooted yet. And yeah, oh, this one's an ivory, which I've done a reel for recently. It got some water on it from a leak in the greenhouse earlier this year and was starting to rot over the side. It's now re-rooting, and it's actually giving me some leaf props as well. So a success story there. And over this end we've got pumpkin, beautiful new one. So yeah, they're all beautiful. The colours are just so vibrant. I love them. Oh, this one's a cristata cubic frost variegated one. So yeah, I'm in love with them. They're so pretty. I really love this one. So nice. I literally go past them. I love that. I love that. I love that. So yeah, that's shelf number 2. And then up here we've got my variegated shelf. So what I'm thinking of doing is actually having a bit of move around in here. So I find that this shelf gets a hell of a lot of light, which is why I've got this shade netting up here to put it over when it is full sunshine. Because I think they are probably more sensitive to sunlight, and I have quite a few that have burnt and I've lost over the years. So I'm thinking of moving all of them probably into like the middle of this shelf. And then these bigger pots I'm going to put at the back, so it's kind of a staging kind of level descending kind of thing, if that makes any sense. And yeah, just have a bit of a move around, because everything recently I've repotted my whole collection and just shoved it somewhere. It was like top shelf is what I've treated with bug clear, second shelf was haven't treated yet, but I've now decided I'm not going to do any more treatment this year because it's now June. You can only treat them twice a year, and I'd rather do them in October time for the ones I've missed out, and then potentially some of the thirsty ones again. So yeah, I don't know, there's a lot going on which I'm thinking of doing. I've also, when I repotted them onto the white pots, I've used compost, and I'm now just a little bit worried that maybe that's a little bit too organic, because I've had quite a few rots recently. So I was wondering if I should have stayed with my John Innes, which is what I've always used before. It's quite a dry soil, and I mix it with I used to mix it with molar clay, but I now mix it with horticultural grit. So I'm just wondering if I need to repot my whole collection again, because I've had about 8 rot. But after speaking to people on Facebook, they have kind of helped me come to the conclusion it might be because I'm watering in the evening, which is the correct thing to do this time of year because it's too hot in the day. But maybe the following day that soil is just absolutely cooking and just rotting. The succulent is not able to cope with the heat in the soil. So what I'm doing now is, if anything is looking thirsty, I'm watering it and leaving it outside in kind of the shade for a few days, maybe 5 days, and then bringing it back in here when it's mostly dried out, just to see if that works. So yeah, anyway, let's have a look. I'm going to get on my steps so we can have a bit of a closer look at these beauties. Variegated shelf, here we are. So there was some kind of organisation, like I say, I did some with bug clear, and that's what the green labels kind of were like indicator points for me where I've done up to. But now I've given up on that for the rest of the season, because yeah, it's getting too far into the season. Time is just going way too quickly. But yeah, I've got some absolutely beautiful ones up here. Not all are variegated. I've got some random ones which have snuck in, like this fanfare and the black medibas. I've got some unicorn poos, some amazing rainbows. That's a new one, a salut. We've got the flamenco. I love a super bum. I could have a whole shelf of them and never have enough. Flying cloud. This has got a new one, dusty rose. That's a new one, so is that. And then some oldies but goodies at the back there, and then some which aren't looking that great at the back. They've either been head chopped, they're pups, or they were a bit burnt, so that's kind of a little hospital section with the brown ones. And then over there we've got some ones which are recently rooted from head chops as well. But yeah, so many nice ones. Love them. But yeah, I think they are a little bit sensitive to light, so I'm wondering about moving them in the not so distant future. I love that one, that's a new one as well, saffron. That's the variegated shelf. And then bar the variegated shelf, or maybe kind of joint first. Oh, this shelf is my favourite, I love it. Like, it's just a sea of absolutely beautiful succulents. They just go on and on and on. I love it. So over at this end we've got my huge canty, which I'm very proud of. I grew from seed and it's now blooming, so I'm hoping we can get some seeds from it, or even maybe pollinate it with something else to make some hybrids. That would be amazing. My Monroe, and then over there in the corner is something I got from Lidl's. It was about £3, but I absolutely love it. It's a huge monster now. And then over here we've just got so many different ones. If you want to see like a tour which shows, you know, a section of a shelf or a full shelf and like each individual name, please let me know, because I never know if it's that interesting to go, this is this, this is that, this is this. But when I see sections, I'm like, oh my god, that one's really pretty. What's that called? I'd like to add that to my wish list. So if that's of interest, please do let me know, because I can do that. Obviously it will probably be over a certain amount of videos because there's quite a few to go through. But yeah, let me know if that's of interest. Then over this section we've got all the bigger ones. So I'm just going to move my stool down so we can have a closer look. And these are the bigger ones, which, like I said, I'm going to try and have mainly at the back, so kind of a staggered size, and lots of blooms still. I'm trying to pollinate as many as I can. This one over here is my heart's choice, and every single year it just blooms and gives me so many seeds. So this year I've tried to pollinate it with different succulents, and that's what these little labels mean. It just then shows me what I've tickled with it, and then I think hopefully you can see the buds here. I don't want to knock them too much. The buds are full and green, so that means that there are seeds in there and they're viable, and the plant is now plumping up the seed pods, and then eventually they will start to kind of turn yellowy brown and pop open, and then inside will be the viable seeds which I can sow. So that's very exciting, and I'm just trying to do that with anything that blooms at the minute. I'm just getting my paintbrushes out and tickling them. But I'm doing a video at the minute. I'm nearly finished it, so subscribe if you want to see that video as well. That might be helpful, something you can try for your collection. But yeah, and then this is the end shelf, which is just full of even more beauties. I love them. But yeah, lots of different colours, lots of different ones. But yeah, like I say, if you want a video on individual section and all the names, please let me know. That is greenhouse number 1. So like I say, that's greenhouse number 1. It's my little step, because short girl problems of trying to reach the top shelf. And then I mentioned that I've got quite a few outside, so I've got a trellis over here with some pots hanging on. It's with my beautiful clematis. There's thunderflies today and they are annoying me. Right, so in these pots I've just got anything that looks like it needs a little bit of TLC, which doesn't really make too much sense because they've just been chucked out here. But my succulents thrive in spring, summer and autumn. Just being outside in the elements. They love the wind, the rain, the sun. I don't have many aeoniums. This one's beautiful. I actually forgot to put it away when it snowed last year, and I lost quite a few heads on it, but this was all covered in snow and it survived, so I'm very, very thankful and lucky to see that it lives on. So you've got 3 heads left, and the colours on there is just beautiful, and the really dark one at the back there. So we've got some more here. This one has just gone mental with the recent, we've had so much rain, but it's been then really hot, so it's just been perfect for the succulents out here. So yeah, I just throw anything which looks either a bit thirsty, like that one, and it soon, yeah, just roots really quickly and plumps up with the weather we've been having. And this is a bit of a risky one. I've put my new variegated raindrop out here with a rainbow and different things, so I'm hoping that's gonna be a success story. And then I've got kind of these trough things that my husband made for me. This one doesn't look very good actually. I love these. I saw these at a what's it called? Oh my goodness, this spider's got so many thunderflies in his cobweb. Where did I go to? Like a country park kind of country house. We walked around the gardens a couple of years ago, and they had these hanging out of these like succulent arrangements. And someone kindly on Facebook sent me these. I just said, has anyone got any swaps? And they just sent them to me for free. So they've gone nuts, and I just love them. They're chunky and big and beautiful. And this is my golem, which has gone lovely and red. I've got curly jade. These are different chryssulas. This was in bloom. It's obviously now died off and not looking very happy. Some alpenglows. Everywhere you go, there's an alpenglow about. I love it. And I really like them because they have these big woody stems and they hang over. Some other colourful ones there, and then just some leaf props I've popped in. And over here, I've taken a risk and put one of the Comptons outside because I really I want them to survive. But this one, this trough, doesn't get a lot of rain because we've got one above it kind of sheltering it. So I'm hoping that might be a good thing for this Compton. Yeah, I've got all sorts of different succulents out here. I find that these troughs are really shallow. They don't hold a lot of soil, so the colours on these go so vibrant. And my ghosts go really pinky, which is really pretty. And then I've got a Lilacina in there as well. And then over here, I've got another one, which is, so I just have kind of chryssulas and stuff in these ones, Haworthias, and then the top ones are all sorts of different Echeverias. Yeah, just all sorts really. This is a recent order I had of a blue trumpet, which is rooting nicely, so I thought I'd put it outside. Oh my god, it's got so many aphids on it. I don't know what is going on with the bugs this last couple of days. But yeah, lots of different ones there. And then down here I've just got pots and pots. So yeah, you can just see that I'm a bit of an An addict. This one's beautiful. There's a lot of soil in here for the amount of succulents, but they are rooting really well, and I've put loads of grit in there. This is probably one of my favourite ones. My elegans, they go so pink in the winter. This is a head chop pot, owl arrangement, and then I just chuck some leaf props in different pots and see what happens really. So that's that section. And then over here I've got my big red, which I was going to head chop this year to give me some babies. But it's decided to give me some babies on its own, so that's exciting. And it's now in bloom. I've got 2 blooms coming. And then I've got an arrangement over here. I've had to put some netting on this one. My cat's taken a liking to it and tries to go to the toilet in there. So yeah, it's got netting. A huge palm over here. And then this is I call it my hexagon arrangement, which I've had for about 4 years. And as you can see, it's just a beast. It's just all sorts in there. I did take quite a lot out recently and did some cuttings and things to sell, so it's not quite as bushy as it was, but crazy. All of them ghosts. They're so pretty. Then at the back here we've got agave, another couple of arrangements, and lots more little pots. These are £1 each, these small ones from Primark, and I think they were £4. So little bargains. I love that one. That's really pretty. And then we have greenhouse number 2, and I've just realised I missed this little arrangement out here. Got my big Buddha, and an absolutely massive agavoids which got burnt in March. It's growing out really nicely. And then we've got lotus, pink dough, hookery. I think one of them is a raindrop. So yeah, some smaller ones in there as well. Oh, and I also forgot this section. So I've got strawberries, blueberries, and all sorts over here. And then these ones, they just seem to love sun and stuff, so I just chucked them out here now to see if they do a little bit better. I've got some new pots I've just done, some little baby ones. This is kind of head chops and things, and this is one of my lovely arrangements. So greenhouse number 2. So this is kind of my growing greenhouse, we'll call it. And it's got a little bit of everything in, and this greenhouse is also a lot cooler this time of day, so I like to try and do bits in here where I can, and then it gets scorching in the afternoon. So yeah, it's a funny greenhouse because in the winter it doesn't get hardly any light, but in the summer it was 48 in here last week, which is just mental. So I have my pot and table up this end. I'm kind of halfway through organising it. You can see I've kind of brushed everything in the corner. Yeah, and semi-organised, and it's always kind of something going on in here, kind of a work in progress. And then if we start down the bottom, I think, so the bottom shelf is mostly trays and things which I need, but what I also have down here is lots of leaf props. So like I said, I put them in these little tubs and things, and then every so often I go through and see any successful ones get potted up into one of the trays that I'll show you, and then any dead ones obviously can just go straight in the bin, so you're not wasting as much space that way on the trays and watering them when they die off. So that's the bottom shelf, and the same down here. We've just got trays and pots and things, nothing too exciting. Then the next shelf up over here, we've got some little pups and head chop things which are just rooting on. This is a tray of leaf props. I'm just trying different things each year to see what kind of grows better, and I'm finding this year with having leaf props in these individual cells and washing them every day, they're growing really quickly. And then we come on to my seedlings. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these trays, I think. Not all full, but these are probably my bigger ones at the minute. They are huge. These are my canties. So I've started a video, maybe last September, maybe before then, of how to grow canties from seed, because they usually grow really quickly. This year, they are taking their sweet time, so I don't know what's going on there, but they're still alive. Yeah, so these are all different hybrids, but not completely sure I know the parentage of both of them. And then more seedlings over here. Got a spider on my shoulder in a second. Yeah, some more seeds over there, some seedlings there. This is a tray of leaf props. So they're just growing really well. These ones are huge, so it might be that I need to go through this soon and then put them onto the next size up. I've got some head chops here which are just sitting there rooting. I've got lots of pups which have come off my head chops. I love that tray. It's just yeah, full of colour, and like I said, that's all pups which are from my head chops. So this is why I do head chops, because the amount of plants you get for free from them is insane. And I've got some seeds which are growing nicely. These ones are from May this year. Oh, April actually. Yeah, and these ones from the previous years, so some seeds there. And over here I've probably got a little bit of the same, some seeds. These ones are ones which got really leggy, and I'll just put them in here, and they're now getting really nice and plump, so I should be able to probably cut them out soon, because I'm never going to be able to find the bottom of the stems, so I'm going to have to cut them and just let them root again on their own. And then this section for about 3 different shells are my head chops. So I head chop a lot. Last year I got really carried away with it. As you can see, there's loads. This year I haven't done quite as many, but I've just tried to do maybe a couple a week, just so I've got some taking over. And I've got some more up here. So yeah, you can see how good it is at growing pups. There's just loads on some of these. It does take quite a lot of time, and obviously they only grow in the growing season. In the winter they go a bit dormant, and it's a bit risky because they are just sitting here and probably wasting away a little bit. But yeah, I've got lots and lots of head chops. So second shelf over here is head chops, along with some pegs, because I also have to put some shade netting up on this half of the greenhouse, because I don't have any, because usually the sun's not quite high enough to get in here, but it has been recently. So I just have some pegs to put some emergency shade netting up. More leaf props, and then some more pups which are from head chops. Oh, and some more head chops over here. And then if we spin back around, we've got a whole tray of leaf props which are doing really, really well. Another tray of leaf props. Another tray of pups. Another tray of pups. Another tray of seedlings. I love these. These have really, really grown a lot recently. They love having water every day. I didn't do this before. I probably watered them like once a week, being scared that I'm gonna kill them, and actually I killed them because they weren't getting enough water. So I've had some absolute beautiful seedlings grow, and they've died off over the summer because they just weren't getting that water. So something I've learned recently, that they just need it. They need a lot. They're not like a mature succulent. They can sit in water, and they need to grow. Another one of pups. Another lot of seedlings. So yeah, when I say growing greenhouse, you can see what I mean. Got lots of different varieties in here, and then just a little one that I've started at the front here. And last but not least, we've got the top shelf. So we've got more pups and leaf props, and then these are all of kind of succulents which have got too big for the trays, and they're potted onto the kind of nursery pots, but they're not quite big enough for me to sell, or maybe they got burnt, or they're just not looking 100%. So it's either like this is the hospital or this is the growing area. But yeah, they're one of the bigger ones which are doing quite well. And then I've got some head chops here which are actually the heads which haven't rooted yet. This is my Variegated Lola. I cannot believe I chopped this, but hopefully roots will appear soon. It's been probably a couple of weeks. So yeah, I just check every so often just to see if roots are appearing. And typically all the ones I'm picking up have got nothing. No. Bugging me again. What about Esther? Has Esther got anything? Yes, so some roots are growing there. So that's what I do with head chops. I just leave them sitting nicely up here and just let them do their own thing in their own time, and just keep checking them. And then again, we've got some more which are not quite ready to sell, but doing quite well. And then this side are the ones which I am selling. So each week I have 4 different trays or sections, and I rotate that each week so people don't always see the same ones. So as you can see, there's absolutely beautiful ones here. Some of them at the back are like the next to go in the sale, and they're a little bit bigger. But yeah, these are really, really happy, healthy, big, and yeah, ready to be sold and go to some new homes. So yeah, I do a sale every Sunday on my Facebook page to sell some of these. And then again over here I've got some smaller either seedlings or pups, and the same here. And back to some head chops. Well, that was me attempting to do a quick tour of my greenhouses, so God knows how long that's going to be. Yeah. I could just talk about succulents all day. I don't know if you realise that, but I love them so much. So yeah, that was kind of an overview of everything. I hope that was interesting. If there's anything that you'd like to see more of or any questions you have, please let me know. If you've got any video ideas for anything you would like to see or you'd find quite useful, please let me know. But yeah, that is kind of a conclusion or summary of everything I have, and yeah, some thought process behind what I'm doing, and hopefully you've seen some beautiful succulents which might have inspired you to add some to your collection. But yeah, I'm going to go now because I'm covered in thunderflies and I hate them, so I'm going to go sit inside for a bit and have a cup of tea. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I would appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. If you enjoyed this video, it means the absolute world to me. It does so much for my channel, so please subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, if you've got any questions, let me know. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.